Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris on IMTM Worldwide Radio, and this is the Women in Business Show. Believe it or not, this is the first show of 2023, which is crazy for me to say it, but it is what it is. This is actually the first show that is not the radio version, so I can't call out the number that I usually would for you to call in, but you can, comment on the chat line. It is open and free. I do want to say this real quick. Thank everybody for supporting the show over the years. It's been a little bit slow. A lot of stuff has happened, but I'm glad to be back on the air. So I definitely appreciate everybody as far as that goes. So welcome again. Now, I created the Women in Business Show based on posts I used to do on Instagram and Facebook back in the day, highlighting women that I knew personally that had created their own businesses or began pursuing a certain industry based on their personal talent. So I decided to create a whole show around that a few years ago. And since then, I've had an Olympic gold medalist, a WNBA head coach, a magazine publisher, 2 fashion designers, a doctor, a lawyer, several journalists, a chef, and those in the beauty industry, as well as those in the entertainment industry on the show. So please be sure to subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page, which shows all the live streams that I've had, and also listen to the Women in Business Show on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, and other platforms. Now, today's show is brought to you by The Power of Women, a documentary that I'm working on, so please be sure to check that out when it comes out, hopefully this year. And also, please be sure, if you see on the bottom there, the sponsor for our show today is the Price Design Club. He's actually the one who created the logo for The Power of Women, as well as the logo for my sports show called Around the ATL. So make sure you hit him up. He's very professional. He's very timely, but he's really good at what he does. So make sure you hit up Jamal Price. Let him know that the Women in Business Show sent you. Okay. Now, today I have someone that is very special to me. If you saw my intro, the new intro to the show that you just saw, it's pretty cool. I like that. And I did it because last night I said, you know what? I don't have a visual intro for the show. So today I did one. And one of the reasons was I wanted to kind of launch the show off in 2023 the right way. So I followed this young woman on Instagram a couple of years ago, and it was because of a video I saw of her interviewing an artist at an event. Okay. I continued to follow and watch how she was growing and interviewing all these different artists and at events and things of that nature, and saw that the artists enjoyed their interviews and just saw the growth in what she was doing. Plus, at the time, she was actually a radio personality at a local radio station in her city as well. So eventually I reached out to her to say, hey, I would love for you to come on the Women in Business Show. She said yes. Now, knowing all she's done since then, I said, you know what, it's time to have her back on again. So I'm glad to be able to bring to the fore my guest today, Ms. China Williams. And let's make sure I can bring her in here completely. China, how are you doing?
Hey, oh my, thank you so much, Chris, for your amazing intro. It's such an honor to be back. Wait, how many years has it been?
Approximately, it's been 2.5 years now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. The reason I know is because I was trying to find certain things to pull from, and I saw one of the article I initially did, and it said like 2020 or something like that. So I said, "Oh my goodness!"
So, wow, it does not seem like that long.
It's been a minute. Now, I do want to say a couple of things. One, thank you. Also, thank you for doing your video for The Power of Women. I do plan on finishing it. A lot of stuff happened since then, pandemic and all that kind of good stuff.
We gonna need an upgrade. I look so different.
I know. And but I am working on it, so thank you for that. And I do plan to come out to California. If the people in the audience don't know, I am a photographer as well, and this young lady is definitely somebody on the horizon to where I want to get her in front of the camera. So definitely want to do that. Plus, too, just for everybody to know, China was probably one of my best interviews of all time on any of my shows. No pressure, China. Just to let you know. And so this is the first time we've gotten to actually see each other face to face. So this is going to be very exciting for me as well. So that all being said, let's get started. Now, I do want to make sure I do this for you. Well, let me get my banners here straight. Let's see. There we go.
And wow, yeah, I'm so honored. I'm so honored.
There we go. All right, now it's official. Now, first of all, since it's been a while, I do want to have the audience kind of get to know you a little bit. So introduce yourself, tell them the name of your company and everything and what you do.
Okay, so my name is China Williams. I am the owner of the best show in the whole entire world. I'm not even lying, but it's the China Show, and I also own the China Show Productions. And pretty much, I am a storyteller in visual form,
Hmm,
and I. Right now, I'm focused a lot in music journalism, so it's been a lot of me interviewing just a lot of artists, but I just love storytelling all around, and that is my purpose, my passion in what I do over here at the China Show. Hey, yeah.
okay. So let's do this. I want to, like I said, I want to delve into you just a little bit so people can have a starting point to get to where we are and to see you get to a certain point in the future. It all
Mhm.
starts from somewhere. So
Yeah.
where are you from? Did you grow up there? Just let's
Uh-huh.
start with that.
Okay, so I am from Riverside, California, which is probably like, I would say with no traffic, 45 minutes away from LA. So a lot of people that, I think a lot of people assume that I'm from LA because I'm constantly out there or I'm constantly in Orange County, other surrounding cities, but I'm right here in the Inland Empire and we literally have a bit of everything. We're kind of like the middle ground for I would say like a lot of culture in California.
Okay.
So I grew up here, and it's kind of, I would say, compared to LA, it's a little bit more city like. I'm
Hmm.
definitely more of like a small town girl, city person, or small town person. So it's really cool to, be able to do my career and step outside of the box and drive 45 minutes away, but then also come back to like my little coffee shop on the corner that I like to visit.
Flexibility definitely counts. Now, you kind of mentioned it, a little bit of the small town part, but because of no one, I don't know your age, obviously, because I don't ask
Yeah.
that question. You know that. But you were brought up in a time where the technology thing was more advanced in your time than it ever has been before.
Right.
So how was it growing up during that time, going to school, just doing things? Kind of give us that a little bit.
Okay, without disclosing my age like that, I feel like I was one of like the last generations to actually have like a normal childhood. I think like MySpace and all of that was happening kind of like towards like middle school, high school, but for me, I wasn't able to have like a phone like that, or my parents were still kind of new to that, so I wasn't really able to have like social media accounts. So I would say that like if everything was the way that I think I would have appreciated it. Just seeing, what technology is now, which is great, but I do, miss those moments of like being in the present with people more often and actually seeing people in person without having to like rely on like, what are they doing on the internet or. So I do like the balance, but technology is great. Technology is great. I'm just happy I got to experience both.
So let me ask you this question. Now, this is not an easy question, but definitely not a hard one. When
Okay.
was what was the time, or was there a time that being in the public eye could be a possible career choice for you? Because everybody isn't built to be in front of the camera all the time.
Right.
So was there something that made you gravitate towards it? Was there like a starting point, something that happened that say, you know what, I can maybe do this?
It's funny. I was always that kid growing up. And I think even now, just like now that, I'm an adult, I try to reflect on like things from my childhood and kind of like try to tap back into that childlike energy of like, what I kind of derive from. But I sorry if my family's being a little loud, my bad.
No problem, no problem.
I've always loved being in front of the camera. I've always loved that. Even with my cousins, like when me and my cousins would get together and all the adults were like, outside or whatever, like I would try to put together dances, or take pictures or record. I just always had a passion for that. I just didn't know what direction I wanted to go into. And I started off with modeling, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not meant to do modeling. I kind of started doing all of that. So I was like, maybe I'm like more, I like talking. I like talking, but I also like being in front of the camera. And I thought journalism was like the best way for me to go because I also love listening. I also love conversating. So that's what led me into the path that I am now. I think I've always just been very creative and on camera like for the most part.
So you kind of answered my next question a little bit. How did you determine that interviewing would be the specific niche? And
Yeah.
then, especially with hip hop artists, music, things of that nature, was it something to say, okay, I like to talk,
Yes.
So how did that get into where you got the microphone and everything?
Okay, so when I started doing multimedia journalism, I thought I wanted to take it in the form of like newscasting, like being like a weather girl or, just like
Okay.
telling stories in that form. So that was kind of like the only like the only lane I thought that was kind of possible at that time for what I wanted to do. Working at like E News or doing, like big hip hop interviews like Power 106, that was just so far fetched to me. Like, how do I do that? So it wasn't until I got into college at Cal State San Bernardino. Um, I ended up meeting my amazing friend, Nappy 2000, who had a radio station that was going on in our area. It was the only hip hop station at that time, and it was playing local music. So I ended up kind of just helping out in that situation and then getting comfortable enough to hop on the mic. And then that's where I kind of took it. I got comfortable in the lane of interviewing music artists, and I love music so much. So it's just been kind of like a very relatable topic for me to really talk about with other creatives.
Well, that sounds like it definitely fell into place at that point because of course, circumstances. And sometimes you just never know how things, can lead you to a path
Right.
of one sort of another, right? So, was it difficult or easy at first for you? You're just kind of getting into it. You're, best foot forward. But was it easy for you to kind of get yourself into that grind of that, or was there any difficulties? Kind of tell us about how you got started.
I think it was probably like the confidence, that was probably the thing that was maybe hindering me. I didn't know that I could articulate on, camera, or I wasn't comfortable in my voice at that time. I wasn't comfortable in who I was. So that was probably like the biggest challenge of getting over it and just realizing like, you know what? Like, I am who I am, and to be irreplaceable, one must be unique. And I am unique, and I am different. And I just pray that my content could touch whoever it needs to touch, or whoever needs to see that. Another creative that needs to get inspired by this person. I don't know. I love doing it, and I've just been abundant in it. But that's just because I feel like whatever you do in life that you feel passionate about, and if you can do it in that capacity, um, things just flow to you.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the word inspiration. So with that in mind, did you ever have a point that you said, "Well, this isn't going to happen"? Did you ever have a moment to where it was, just something just, is too much going on, or I don't know anymore. Did you ever have that moment to say, step back and say, I don't know, maybe I need to switch it up or do something different, or you said, I'm gonna keep going? But did you ever have a moment like that?
I don't think I've ever had a moment like that. I think for me, I guess my personality, I'm always like, I'm gonna figure it out. And even if I don't, I'm just gonna keep trying at it. So I've never kind of put that off the table of not being able to have it. But maybe just like, hey, you maybe need to just go harder.
The reason I mention that is for interview purposes, for people who
Mhm.
see this either now or in the future, in
Yeah,
regards to the giving up part, and being able to step through any of those obstacles that always are going to come up. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter
right.
of, can you keep going, even if it's a little bit, keep going, because
Yeah,
sometimes, because stopping altogether, it's almost 300% impossible for you to get back. But
Exactly.
even if you slowed up and you just did things minuscule, you can continue to say, okay, I'm still, bits and pieces, bits and pieces, bits and pieces. Okay, I've finished all this. Now I can get back on the horse. So that's why I wanted you to see what you would say to that. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you. All right, cool. So motivations.
Mhm.
So do you have a main motivation to continue your push to be successful? Because see, now remember I mentioned how, well, to our audience, how when I met you till now. So is there something that just says this is the reason, you have an end goal inside or things of that nature, or is it the people that you get to continue to communicate
Yeah.
with and deal with? Kind of give us that a little bit.
I think I do this, and my end goal is, yeah, to touch as many lives, for as many stories to be told. I feel like everyone, like I said, has a story, and especially for artists or a lot of these creatives, they may not have the opportunity to be getting interviewed, with big platforms and different things like that. But for me, like, I'm instilling independence and being an indie Black owned media company that wants to highlight smaller people in that lane. Smaller, bigger, everyone's human, you know what I mean? Everyone's got a story, and I'm here to tell it. So that is the end goal for what I want to do, provide that space within the China Show Productions. And also, the end goal too for me is just to be financially free. I don't want to work for anyone. I've noticed that in my life. It's just, I'm always, I could do it, but I um I want to be financially free. I want to travel. I want to live that kind of life. So
Yeah.
my platform provides, I guess, multiple streams of income, which is, not just with this, but I have other things that I do. But yeah, that's kind of like the end goal.
The needing of platforms is important. One of the reasons I started IMTM Worldwide Radio years ago when I was still doing talent management was people need to find out if you can even be on camera and talk, be on
Right.
the radio and have an interview. Do you want to be interviewed? And then can you interview? We need to find
Yeah.
that out. So that's why I started, because I started interviewing, magazine publishers for the models, music video directors for the models, and just different people, directors for actors, actresses, and things of that nature. Started interviewing musicians and things of that nature, because at a certain point, you're going to have to do it one
Right.
way or the other if you're serious about it, right? So that's where that comes in. That there's always going to be a need for that. It's just a matter of what is the platform like, and like you said, who is it touching? So
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that as far as that goes.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Now here's a good question for you. Any drawbacks to being in that spotlight that you're in, whether it be on camera, whether it be at a specific event, anything along those lines? Do you perceive any? Have you had any affect you? Kind of give us that.
I haven't necessarily had anything directly for what I'm doing affect me. I think the only thing that kind of is a little extraneous is probably just being on social media and having to create like a magnitude of content in order for it to even be seen. So I think that's kind of been my drawback of being able to find a balance of monitoring my time on social media as I'm, promoting the China show.
It is not easy, which is why you see down there at the bottom your website and Instagram flowing every other second there. There you go. Um, I help out, right? So now I do have some questions as far as, these last couple of questions to where it's the Women in Business show, obviously. So
Yes.
as a woman, how difficult is it to make sure that people are professional in general around you? Or have you ever had that or initial instance where people were never professional with you or whatnot? But the thing of it is that I live in a world where a lot of people are stupid and knuckleheads, though. So that's why I asked the question. So tell us that.
Um, yes, I've definitely been in situations like that, but I think everything has been kind of like a learning thing, especially with stepping into like being a boss, like a boss woman, not just being a woman, but being a boss, and stepping into that like mind state of it. Because naturally, like I'm a really nice person. I love everybody. I love, like I think there's something cool within everyone, and I always try to see that, and that's probably the energy that I'm exerting. So people may feel like comfortable or no, she's lax, da 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 da. But I had to kind of just modify my energy and my personality in certain situations so that that is just never crossed.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm still actually learning because I don't want to be like I'm naturally a very feminine woman, and have very divine feminine energy, but I also don't want to have to come off as being masculine all the time just to stop that situation from happening. So I need to just find, I'm still working at it, just finding the balance.
Yeah. It's difficult, and like I said, from just my past experiences, it's not easy. I started my talent management in Atlanta, of all cities. It
Right.
was always a tussle there. I don't even want to get into any of those things right now, but it's a matter of lines can't be crossed, and I would rather give up potential opportunities than having somebody fall off the end of the earth. That's just me.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so if people don't agree with that, well, I'm probably not going to work with you then, because I'm not going to have your mother coming to me saying, "How come you know what I'm saying?" So
Yeah, exactly.
it was not easy. Well, it was easy for me because I'm just saying it's not happening. But for
Yeah.
those who they're all, some people, opportunity is an opportunity. For me, that's not the case. All opportunities are not good, and all people do not care about you either. So I always had to be that
Yeah.
watchdog to say, I need to know what's going on, because if not, if something happens, I can't be really responsible because you want to do something without me knowing about it. So
Yeah.
that's always I've been like that forever, because it's not good out there sometimes. There's some
Yeah.
people who are always will be professional, but you just never know sometimes, and you have to, like you said, you don't want to have your guard up so much to where you're standoffish,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like you got to be you, right?
Exactly.
So it's a fine line sometimes. So I always, appreciate that, from the women who are in the industry one way or the other.
Yes,
So
of course.
so I appreciate you answering that question for sure. What do you feel your biggest advantage is over competition? Now I know you're going to say, Chris, I don't have no competition. However, there are a few out there. I don't even know who they are because I only pay attention to you, obviously, right? So, but there are people who are out there, whether or not they just got started or whether or not they've been in the business for 10 years. So, what would you say differentiates you from everybody else?
I used to look at it very competitive, like that. I guess especially when I was starting off, I was comparing myself to everybody and how this person did it and how that person did it. But I realized when I'm in that space, I'm completely out of my like unique China creative flow. So, in all honesty, like if I see something that someone is doing kind of like me, I purposely won't really, I support like a lot of my homegirls that are doing it. I support them, but I'm not really like indulged in it like that because I try to just stick to my creative flow. I try to just stay in my little dreamland and create in that way. And also too, like as far as competitiveness, I had to realize that everyone is so different. You know what I mean? Everyone is so different. It could be the same thing, but how the person makes you feel or who the person, it's different. And I think everyone has that to their advantage. And I for sure have that to my advantage because I have never seen another platform in as awesome and dope as the China show. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
your history thus far proves that, you know what I'm saying, just from what you've been able to do up to now. So that makes it obvious. That being said, that segues me into my next question. What would you say your biggest accomplishment to date is so far?
My biggest accomplishment to this date so far. Oh, that's such a good question because lately I've just been trying to like, I guess, magnify my small term goals, or like the things that I've been completing on like a smaller level. Um, that because sometimes I just forget like everything that I be doing. I think my biggest accomplishment has been, I think, building my show coverage, my concert show coverage series. I think
Okay.
is probably my, yeah, a good accomplishment, big accomplishment for myself.
And I can tell there's a lot of work that goes into that because it's an event. So it's not just
Yes.
you at that point that's involved in putting all that together, and then
Yeah.
the after of putting it all together for the visual that actually will be put out. So I've done a few events. I know
Mhm.
what it's like. So that's
Yeah.
definitely something huge in your arena as far as that goes. So I definitely appreciate the work that you're putting in for that.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
you're very
That's
welcome.
great.
2023. Now, it's April, obviously April
Yeah.
1st. What do you have? Let me backtrack. It's April, so January to now, and then
Yeah.
for the rest of 2023, what things have you done? What things do you have planned so far?
I guess for the rest of the quarters of the year, I plan on dropping my first clothing line, which is going to
Whoa.
correlate with the China show, but also, I didn't want merch that said the China show because maybe it may not resonate with everyone, but a cute dress or a cute slogan will for male and female. So I kind of did like a spin-off of my show. I haven't actually publicly said it yet. So this will be, actually, I'm not going to say it yet, but um,
See, look at you. Here we go. See.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say it yet, but I do have a clothing line coming out. And then I plan on just locking down a lot more sponsorships with some sponsors that I have been talking to.
See, we get the breaking news on the Women in Business show, folks. See,
Yes.
I didn't know. So I'm quick. I'm a quick typer, so you know how I do.
Oh,
So okay, I got a really good question for you. With all
yes.
the people you've interviewed already, do you have your own personal Mount Rushmore already?
You know what? I think my favorite one so far has probably been. Actually, I don't know if I've had my Mount Rushmore. There's been great moments with people. I really liked interviewing Currency, Ninth Wonder, and I really enjoyed my interview with Ninth Wonder, who is a producer out in North Carolina, of course. I really, yeah, I guess all of last year I was really into Little Brother and listening to like a lot of their older projects. So
Mhm.
me actually like interviewing Knife Wonder was really cool, and he like remembered me and like knew who I was. So I think that was like kind of defining and
So,
Mount
so,
Rushmore.
so of course, I got the backup question. Who would be your Mount Rushmore for you? Who would you want to be able to interview in the future? Four or five or four?
Um, Definitely Downtown Julie Brown.
Oh
That's
wow,
my
there you go.
girl. That's my girl. A lot of inspiration for a lot of the things that I project and see myself being able and capable to do. I, look at her career and look at how just awesome, she was all around. So Downtown Julie Brown, Tyler the Creator. I'm a huge Odd Future fan, and lastly, probably like. Dang. Maybe like an Elton John.
Oh wow, the biggest of the big right there. I hear you,
Yeah,
China. Okay,
someone in that caliber, like
Sir
Elton John.
Elton. Wow. Okay. Well,
Or shoot, Paul McCartney.
it
Paul
can only
McCartney.
happen if you at least throw it out there, right? You never know what
Yes,
might stick,
right. I'm
right? So there you
manifesting, manifesting.
go. What advice would you give women that look to get into aspect of the business in regards to journalism, maybe in general, like you kind of mentioned, maybe on
Right.
just regular news or television, or on the entertainment side, being on camera in general? What advice would you want to give women?
Um, I would give women the advice to, before even starting it, just being in a comfortable space of self. Because I think once you are able to be in that lane, that aura, that energy, you really don't even have to do much and stuff will just start flowing to you, thoughts, creativity. So really take time and work on that so that you are able to see the beauties of what is already there. Um, and take the easy route. Like yeah.
That is a great answer. I appreciate that. Um, oh, well, here's an easy one, obviously. How can people find you on the internet? And I'll help you out as you go through your.
Ah, why? Very, very, very hard question. So you can find me on the ChinaShowProductions.com. That is kind of where I am directing everybody to. I'm trying to build up my following on my website. I think it's essential, for anyone that's on here or anyone that's going to watch. As a creative, we cannot just rely on one social site. You see what's going on with TikTok. If you were putting all your energy and building up all of your following through that one platform, essentially, you have to start off somewhere else or whatever. So make sure you just always have your own platform, because no matter what, the China Show Productions is still there. You'll be able to find all my interviews, my pictures, everything like I never left.
Yep.
So the ChinaShowProductions.com is where you can find a book, be able to get my merch in the future, all of that. And then, of course, you can find me on social media, The China Show for China Show content, and China Tokyo Japan for China Show with a little bit of hot sauce because, I be feeling myself with my pictures. So.
Yes, we won't get into that right now. So, um, I gotta mess with you sometimes. So China, I want to say again, thank you so much. I know you've been busy, and I've been hectically busy, but I said I'm brokering this time out today, especially for you. The first show of the year, and again because people need to know about young women like yourself, business owners in the spotlight, like I've been saying for a while, but also have talent. Okay, that kind of goes hand in hand with that as well, is that you actually have skills and abilities, and you've been able to broker those into something that
Yes.
is making your life easier. And as you
Yeah.
said, as the future goes, you want to be completely independent, don't have to rely on anybody. And that's the only way you can do it, is by doing the hard work, doing your studying, doing everything that you need to do to put yourself into that arena, and eventually interviewing Elton John. So I,
Yes.
I can't wait till that happens for sure.
I'm ready for him.
All right. So I'm gonna let you go for now. But like I said, I can't wait to come out to California. Hopefully it'll be within a couple of months. Definitely by the end of the year. And since it doesn't really get cold out there, I don't. It doesn't really matter when I
Oh,
come.
yeah. No, 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 no,
Right.
no. No, no, no,
So
no.
so.
That is a myth. It's been cold. It's been
Oh
so
really?
cold. It's
Oh
been so
no.
cold for the last month, Chris, in California. We're so annoying because, first of all, I probably own like two jackets. There's no need for me to own anything other than two jackets because it's
Yeah.
just so hot all the time. But it's been so cold, and California people, everyone's depressed out here. Like when the
Oh
sun's not
man.
out, it's like, what is
Well,
going
I'll
on
definitely
with
I'll make
life?
sure I check the temperatures before I book a
Yes,
flight.
please.
Plus, too, I can't have you freezing during the photo shoot. I know that I used to do that sometimes. Y'all seen America's Next Top Model? It's 40 degrees. We can do this, right?
Oh,
I
right,
won't do
right.
that
Get
to
them
you.
all
I,
over my
I
face.
promise. I promise I won't. But I definitely feel like I'll be able to come out there for the first time, and you'll be the main reason I get to come out. So there you go.
Oh, yay.
Well, China, again, it's been a pleasure. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get this show posted. By the way, and if you didn't see it, the post on Instagram, a couple hours ago, I had wanted to do a visual intro for the show because I wasn't doing the radio,
Right.
so I was able to get that done. Then I forgot,
I'm
well,
just
shoot,
lighting some sage, by the way. I'm
oh,
just lighting shit. It's
oh, no
that
problem.
I didn't want you thinking I'm like, yeah.
Oh, no, no, no problem. No problem.
But
Remember, this is live though, y'all. But anyway,
I'm
so
staging you guys.
the other thing was I had forgot to do my questions. So I got these questions done about an hour ago. So just to let you know, that's how
Wow.
special you are. Say, I got to get this done. So
Wow, you
if
did an
anybody
amazing job.
appreciates the hard work that I put in, there you go. So every episode, that's what I do.
I
So
appreciate you.
you're very, very welcome. So I'm gonna let you go for now. Make sure when I'll let you know when the show is done. And I'll send it to you, so that way you can send it to your people and everything. But I know people in general will appreciate this episode in regards to the things that you said, the things you said about yourself, the things that you said about the industry, the things you said about being a woman in the industry as well. People are going to appreciate and learn from this show. So that's the main reason I do this. So I definitely appreciate you. Okay.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I really appreciate your time and everything that you're doing for the women's empowerment. And we appreciate men like you for giving us a spot and a platform. So until next time, I want to be on here every single year. So
I can make that happen for sure. Don't even worry.
until my Elton John interview, and then I'm gonna be bougie.
Oh, well, there. Thank you, China.
All right, bye, Chris.
Bye. Oh man, that was funny. Hopefully she don't forget the little people when she does her Elton John interview. So again, for those who did get to chime in for a minute, I know this wasn't a show that I did a lot of promo for. I did maybe a day and a half. It's one of those deals where again my schedule has been crazy with my work the last year or so. So I've had to kind of scale down even my sports show around the ATL and some of the other shows on IMTM Worldwide Radio. So I'm hoping that this sparks another group of shows, hopefully back to back to back. We'll see. I've invited a lot of different people, but she was the main one I wanted to start the year off with. So if you've never watched, let me switch some of this up since she's gone. And again, thanks for China being on. If we were on the radio program, I would be doing the hand clap and everything and my sound effects and stuff. But since we're not there, okay, I am doing the wrong buttons right here. See how rusty I am for the Women in Business show? All right, there we go. That's what I was trying to get to. But thank you, China, for being a guest today. If you've never heard any of the past episodes of Around the ATL, I mean, of the Women in Business show, you can go to Spotify, you can go to iHeartRadio, you can go to Amazon Music, you can go to Apple Podcasts, you can go to Google Podcasts, you can go to Alexa, Odyssey, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio if you want to listen to the podcast from back in the day for the last couple of years. On IMTM Worldwide Radio on YouTube, you can watch the live streams of course, this particular interview that we just did, my interview with Ebony King, my my interview with Jacqueline Clark, a fashion designer who just got a huge position in St. Louis as an assistant designer for a new clothing line out in St. Louis. She's about to move there in May with her husband. Big news. She actually used to be my intern a few years ago. It's a great interview with her. Great story, what she's done over the last few years out of Atlanta. Make sure you go watch that interview for sure. Also on the YouTube channel is an interview with somebody else that I've interviewed with. Her name is Ashley Amber. She is a female country singer who happens to be African American, who's actually on a new TV show right now as well. So go check that one out. Now that wasn't a visual, but I uploaded it from the audio so that way it could be on the YouTube channel. So again, make sure you do follow the YouTube page for IMTM Worldwide Radio. You're on it, so subscribe. And make sure you can follow on Facebook and Instagram for IMTM Worldwide Radio. There's that. And like I said, there's a production that I'm working on. It's been a few years. The pandemic kind of messed up a lot of stuff as far as timing and things of that nature. Then I had some health issues. But if you see there in the corner here, The Power of Women is a project that I'm also working on right now. It's a documentary, basically. And I've pulled some women from all around to be involved in that particular project. And not to give too much away, but it's just a matter of women who have accomplishments and how they got there, what steps it took for them to get there, and to show that even if you do get discouraged, you can still make it. And the reason I'm doing it is to show others who are thinking about doing something to get to that point. Okay. And here's some examples. Here are some examples from where they started, what they were doing, and here they are now. China is one of them. Okay. China gave me the opportunity to use her for the project, and she has some great answers to questions that I asked of her on video. She has a really I think I have the blooper somewhere for her first intro of herself. I'm gonna see if I can play that sometime today. It always makes me laugh. But yeah, the Power of Women is coming. I'm hoping to finish it by this summer or sooner. We'll see what happens. But I am going to get that done. So that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Again, thanks for everybody putting up with me being a little bit rusty with the show. And being patient. But I really do feel strong about what I do in regards to this particular format of IMTM Worldwide Radio with the Women in Business Show. I've had it for a while now, and I hope to grow it as well. Thank you again for China for being on the show. Make sure you do go visit her, and let me pull her up one more time. The ChinaShowProductions.com website. All of her stuff is on there, with also her Instagram, The China Show. Make sure you do go visit also, and let's see if I can find it. Oh my goodness. Now I can't find it. And we got dead air. This is crazy. Where is it at? I was looking for my sponsor. Let's see if I can find it. Price, there it is, Price Design Club. So right down there, you see Price Design Club. He is the one who did that logo, the logo for Around the ATL, my sports show. And also some other productions that I've worked on over the years. I've worked with him for a while. So make sure you hit him up, let him know the Women in Business Show sent you, and he can get you whatever design work you need for your company, big or small. He can handle it, believe me. That being said, I'm going to go and get out of here. Let's go ahead and play the new intro for the show. This intro is going to change, by the way. This is one I did today. So I didn't get to include all of the ladies from the past I've had on the show so far. I am going to work on that a little bit. But I like it so far. So I'm going to show it to y'all one more time. And until next time, y'all take care. Peace.